Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Timothy Lee, and I'm a research analyst at Red Cloud Securities. I'm delighted to host a Red Cloud webinar on gold exploration today. We will hear from Peter Moore, Executive Chairman of Sierra Nevada Gold, Inc. During today's webinar, he will provide an overview and outlook. Then we will take questions. You can type your questions into the chat box at any time, and we will get to as many as we can. Before we kick things off, first we need to discuss some fine print. During this Sierra Nevada webinar, forward-looking statements may be made. I would direct listeners to the company's forward-looking statements disclosure outlined in the Sierra Nevada corporate presentation that can be found on the company's website, sngold.com.au. For Red Cloud Securities, Inc., I would highlight that this webinar is for information purposes only. It should not be considered a solicitation or recommendation to buy or sell securities. We note that this call does not consider the particular situation or needs of individual investors, and participants should rely on their own investigation and seek their own professional advice before investing. Please see our most recent research located on the Red Cloud website for specific disclosures on Sierra Nevada. So we have Sierra Nevada presenting today. The company is focused on exploration on multiple projects located in Nevada, one of the leading gold mining jurisdictions. They have both gold projects. They also have copper gold projects as well. With that, I now turn it over to Peter to update our audience on the company.
Thanks, Tim. Welcome, everybody. Well, I'll run through a background presentation for Sierra Nevada Gold, intended as an introduction for investors and interested parties in what we're doing with Sierra Nevada Gold. It's a drill-ready copper gold explorer, and we have a Warrior project, our priority project, that is ready for a discovery. We've got some good drilling into that, which I'll speak about. The disclaimer there, as Tim's mentioned, you can read at your leisure. Now, overview, Sierra Nevada Gold was established in 2011 and to generate exploration projects in Nevada, in the US. As Tim mentioned, Nevada is one of the top mining jurisdictions in the world for exploration and development, and we think has got terrific potential for further exploration and discovery. We've got a terrific land package, 5 projects. You can see there up in the prolific Battle Mountain Trend, we have the Calabac project adjacent to Pipeline, Cortez, and Gold Rush, all of which have 60 million ounces combined, and our projects in the middle of that. We've got New Pass in near Austin, Texas, and a historic high-grade gold mine that we've done some drilling on, and our Warrior project in the Walker Lane Trend down to the south is a really exciting project on which we've focused since last year's drilling program. Walker Lane, we think, is underexplored. It's really a high potential area. A lot of big companies are down there now. When we started, not many companies, and it's pretty exciting. We've raised money privately, $16 million invested to date on these projects, putting the land packages together, and a lot of drilling and exploration that we've done. So far, I haven't written any off, which is an exciting prospect. They're all very strong projects. The Black Hawk project down to the south there is 2 projects. It's a copper gold porphyry, and there's an associated epithermal, high-grade epithermal project occurs contemporaneously with the porphyry. We've been active in Nevada for 20 years and got significant experience in the jurisdiction, and that's just a great place to explore, as most people would know. Company overview here, just quickly. You can read that at your leisure. The company was listed in May 2022. Price has been belted a bit in recent times, as have all juniors, but our strength of our projects, we're confident our shareholders have been very supportive all the way through, and our major shareholders are listed there, and they're all experienced resource industry investors, so we're confident they'll support the company going forward. The summary of the projects, as I mentioned, there are 5 projects: Calabac, New Pass, Warrior, and the Black Hawk projects. The Warrior project's on top of the list because we drilled it last year. It's a historic mining area, super high grade, and we has had not much work done on it. We put a pretty significant land package together and drilled in 2022. A few highlights there I'll talk about later, but we got 17 meters at 1.57 grams and about 2.5 metres of that at 7.76. So it is a high-grade epithermal system. It's pretty expansive, and it's got really significant upside, and it's our focus at this time. New Pass also is a historic high-grade mine, producing at around 20 grams per tonne. We drilled the old mining area and hit the vein in several locations. Got a grade there of 26 grams. At one point, we got visible gold on another hole and intersected a lot of the veins. Certainly got potential for a high-grade resource at New Pass as well. The Black Hawk epithermal project is, as I said, a high-grade epithermal system associated with the Black Hawk porphyry, historic mining area, and we've got a discovery hole in that too, which equates to about 30 grams per tonne over a few metres, and it was drilled pre-COVID. Caliback's in a great jurisdiction up there by Pipeline and Cortez, 50 to 60 million ounces in the area, and a really exciting project there, which we drilled last year as well, and got there's a nice little shallow oxidised resource potentially, but we're looking really at a deeper target there. Now, the Black Hawk porphyry is a major discovery we made, which is a huge copper porphyry system identified that is early stage exploration, in which we have a number of major companies interested as potential joint venture partners. We don't propose to do much exploration on the porphyry, given the cost of these projects is pretty high, and we'll look for a major partner in that. That process is currently underway. The Warrior project, firstly, located in the Walker Lane Trend, we identified a large new mineral system in 2022. You can see in the land position at the bottom of that map on the right-hand side, the Warrior mine, the Cute Maid, and the Lou mine, and the Hillside mine, all pretty high-grade producing historic mines, which are really the tip of the iceberg on this mineral system. We've identified a large mineral system there that we need to follow up. We've got a long strike there to the north, 15 kilometres is Paradise Peak. This was a really terrific, profitable mine, open cut, high grade, couple of million ounces of gold, 40 million ounces of silver, and a really nice project. And there are a number of other mines in the area, the Simon mine, the Santa Fe mine, million ounces or so. So, pretty exciting area, good access, good roads, power. Pole line road there is Highway 89. That's pole line road because a power line runs along it. So it's a good project, and very exciting geology. Historic sampling from the Warrior mine sampled vein material underground, and we found this data in the University of Nevada records recently, and it identified 90 metres along strike along a drive at average grade of 52 grams. So super high level, high grade in some instances there. So it's an analogous sort of project to Heckler's Midas mine in northern Nevada, which is a very rich mine as well, and also the nearby Green Racer mine. So we're excited about this project because obviously the high grade makes these projects very profitable if you can put a resource together. It's a large mineral system. You can see here the analogy to the Midas mine and the Aurora mine on the images on the right. You can see the vein systems have been mapped there. They're all at the same scale. The Warrior vein system is on the left image, and that has significant strike potential along a number of identified vein systems that we are currently testing. Historic drilling was fairly ineffective. It was pretty shallow and based around the old workings and didn't take into account the bigger system. So we think it's pretty exciting. We've got 10 kilometres of new targets to drill there, and we think that the entire epithermal system is in place. It hasn't been eroded away. So we think there's pretty good upside on this project, and that's our priority project at this time. You can see the cross section here of the drilling, which I won't go to in detail other than to say that it's a 2 kilometre strike length with good hits at either end. The Warrior number 12 on the right hand side of the cross section intersected 147 metres at 0.24, so good gold over a wide area, and some high grade hits in amongst that lot as well. So some good, some really good grades recovered there, and identified some the beginnings of the vein system. So it's untested at this stage in terms of the the scale of it, but you can see that cross section right through the middle from A1 to A. Shows you that, you know, the intersection to the north, and then also the intersection to the south. So significant potential on that project. If you look at the early results here, Warrior 7, which is the hole to the south of the picture, returned 17 metres at 1.57 gold, including 2.5 metres at 7.76 gold. So pretty exciting intercept. And a scout hole we drilled to the north, Warrior 12, WAR 12, encountered 143 metres highly anomalous gold and silver to the end of hole, and including a 36 metre hit at nearly a gram, and 2.5 metres at 3 grams, and 5 metres at 2.3. So, you know, some good veining in there and good grades. So drilling is going to resume in the next month or two. We've had Dick Silito, a renowned sort of epithermal gold expert, out there to have a look, and he agrees that the project has a significant potential. So we're excited by that project at this stage. The New Pass project is another high-grade historic vein system. It's essentially a parallel vein, high-grade vein system. Average historic production is about 40,000 ounces reported, probably more, but it's often not reported. The old boy that owned it mined it himself since 1957, and he reported an average grade of about 17 to 18 grams per tonne off the ore that he mined. He really high graded. It was really small scale mining, but we've been underground here, done geothermal, geotechnical studies of the old workings, and there's quite significant ore left in the mine, plus pretty good infrastructure underground. So it's an exciting project. We've intersected in 2022. We did half a dozen holes in it and intersected the vein there at 26 grams. And the vein's up to 2.5 metres wide in places, and variable grades throughout, but certainly averages a pretty high grade. We're going to resume drilling here in later in 2023 rather. Let me just go on here. New Pass, you can see drilling here on the picture on the right. Excuse me. And you can see the hits that I just mentioned, 1.2 metres at 7 grams gold and 4.81 silver, and you know, visible gold as well, and some pretty good intercepts. So a lot to follow up here. That's the Superior vein. There is also the Thomas W vein, which are parallel, and plus a number of other veins. It's really a nest of veins that need to be explored. The important point here is that the mine has not been explored or drilled properly in 40 years. So certainly some upside with modern exploration and drilling. The Black Hawk epithermal is a large-scale vein system. It's a multi-element system, a lot of silver, lead, zinc, and gold. Significant high grades. You can see there's 22 kilometres of undrilled veins identified. Some of these veins have been mined where they outcropped. You can see the number of mines there. The Endowment mine, the largest of them, produced about 70,000 ounces, we think, based on the historic data. The Morningstar mine, Silver Gulch mine, and several other smaller mines. All of these are pretty high grade, and some of the rock chips off the veins, which are outlined there with little white squares, will show you the grades. Things like 17 grams, 26 grams, 13 grams, 15 grams, 18 grams, all the way through. You can have a look at that at your leisure in detail, but you know, significant high grade hits in rock chips along these vein systems have been consistently recovered with our work. This is all Sierra Nevada Gold work, not historic work. We did a discovery hole here, BHD 006, which was drilled in 2018, and you can see the grade there, 12 metres at 219 grams silver, 0.36 gold, and lead zinc, good lead zinc values as well. So it's a significant, you know, commercial grade hit. That's equivalent 30 grams, 5 metres at 30 grams gold equivalent. So, you know, it's an exciting hole. We've got to drill some more holes here. We focused on the other projects that hadn't been drilled in 2022, and we'll plan to go back and follow up this discovery hole this year as well. So, it's a really high grade. We're focusing, as you can see, on historic mining areas with high grade vein systems, which we think are, very profitable with these bonanza grades for smaller companies. The Calabac project is the one located up in the Battle Mountain Trend. It's adjacent to, on that picture on the right, you'll see the Calabac project in the north, and you'll see the high grade, there's an oxide resource or leakage anomaly, as we call it, at the surface, which we've drilled. And you'll notice next door is a Robertson deposit. Barrick's recently drilled this up and it's in their mining plan. It's a multi-million ounce deposit, gold acres, and then Pipeline's 20 million plus ounces. Cortez is prolific. Cortez Hill's 15 million ounces, and then the new Gold Rush 4 Mile, which is extending along the trend. The big red lines are the trends, the Cortez trend and the Pipeline trend, all sort of heading through the range front on our Calabac project. So extremely well located. We've had done a lot of drilling, quite a lot of geochem and other geology, and it looks pretty exciting. We drilled the shallow leakage zone and got some decent hits there, 29 metres at 1.3, including 7 at 3.6. So it's we don't know that leakage anomaly is necessarily that big, but it certainly indicates leakage from some bigger system, mineralised system, potentially at depth. The drilling cross-section quickly here, where you can see the holes that have been drilled in it and all of the grades. And this is the shallow leakage, and not what we call a leakage anomaly. And there's a low-angle structure there that we think is the feeder potentially for this and potentially other faults that are bringing this mineralisation up to surface. And we're looking at testing deeper targets going forward, but certainly really well located, and as I say, Barrick right next door with a new resource means this project, do we think, has some legs. The Black Hawk Porphyry, this was the big project that we discovered in 2018. We were looking at the you see in the right hand, the top of that picture on the right, there's the red lines of the vein system, this high-grade epithermal vein system that we spoke about earlier. Now doing the work for that in geophysics, now we identified a feature to the south, and turned out to be a large porphyry system that we identified. We've done now significant lines of geophysics across it, and IP lines. We have 12 lines across it now. We identified the system, a significant porphyry alteration, a lot of copper at surface, mapped a lot of copper and gold around the project, and we think that it has real potential. A porphyry alteration footprint is 25 square kilometres, which is really a world-class scale size thing. It's open to the east, and we've proven the geological model with 3 holes into the project at this point, intersecting good porphyry alteration. Not such good, got anomalous copper, but not commercial grade copper. If we had, you would have heard about it. But certainly a lot of work to be done here. It's a big project, and we're looking for a major partner in this. We have a number of major companies signed on confidentiality agreements who are reviewing the data on this project, and we look to joint venture it as a funding option going forward, because these projects are fairly expensive to explore and probably not suited to a junior. So, but it's certainly a significant asset for us, and we look to be getting that funded to get some drilling done next year. You look at this is one of 30 targets identified on the porphyry, and you can see the gravity low, magnetic highs, all on the geophysical cross section to the south on the Marietta North target. You can see on the surface there, the copper 4.62, 1.89, 1.72, 1.48, 3.4. So significant copper occurrences, really indicative of a juiced up porphyry system. And we're excited to get some of these projects drilled. The holes drilled to date are for between 600 metres and 1,200 metres, so it's quite deep, and obviously deep pockets required to explore it. So we're looking to engage a partner, as I said. A generative program. We're an exploration-based company. We've generated a large amount of proprietary geophysical and other and spectral data sets, and from that, we've generated a lot of these targets. We've generated 34 priority 1 targets, 49 priority 2 and 41 priority 3 targets. All of these targets we've had some cursory sort of field looks at, and we've certainly got a pipeline of potential projects in this data set, these data sets that we generated. And we flew those data sets on ground we didn't own, and we've since staked a lot of interesting targets in the project area. So there's certainly a pipeline for additional discoveries as well. You look at our pipeline and target hierarchy, you can see the advanced exploration at the top is the 5 projects: Warrior, Black Hawk, New Pass, Calibac and Black Hawk, but there's also early stage, there's some prospecting areas and some general conceptual targets. So we have significant database on all of these potential projects. So the key takeaways for Sierra Nevada Gold, obviously we're focused in Nevada, Elephant Country, Tier 1 mining jurisdiction, a very favourable place to explore, and the Fraser Institute's voted as the #1 jurisdiction in the world for exploration and development of mineral assets. So we're happy to be there. Experienced team, we've got a lot of significant track record and significant proprietary data that we have used to advance these projects. The balanced portfolio, these projects are really 5 high quality projects. We've got a lot of projects, and we recognise that, but they're certainly a significant asset, particularly in these the market conditions as they are. There's a lot of interest in our projects for potential partners and farming partners to fund as alternate funding options for exploration, and we're exploring those funding options at the moment, and look to bring in some partners on some of those projects, particularly obviously the Porphyry project. Large-scale epithermal gold system identified at Warrior, that's our key project at this point, although any of the others could develop into key projects of focus as well. And we've got drilling to start again this year. And the Porphyry is obviously a significant asset that we look to leverage with a major and get some funding for that project. So that's the Sierra Nevada Gold story, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Great. Thank you, Peter, for a very informative presentation. We'll now start the Q&A portion of the webinar. Just a reminder to everyone on the line that you can type your questions into the chat box at any time. And we already do have a question or two. Have you been able to get drills and good drillers? Sometimes good drills and good drillers are in short supply.
Well, the good drillers is the operative word there, and I agree. It's a good question. We have a company in Nevada that we financed drilling, the purchase of a new RC drill rig, Foremost rig from Canada. We went into partnership with the driller and helped finance the acquisition of that new rig, and therefore that drilling company is available to us, and that rig is available as a priority. So we have access to a new rig which we used in 2022. Had a few delays getting it commissioned, but once it was up and going, we did all of our RC drilling with that rig. So the answer is yes, we've got a good driller. The drillers on the levers vary, and we're very cognizant of that. So we've ensured that we get the very best drillers we can get operating the drilling, and we supervise it pretty closely. So yes, we are able to get drilling done, and we did core holes at the Porphyry project as well, and that's difficult drilling, and they got down to 1,200 meters, which is a pretty good effort. So yeah, the answer is yes. Drilling's expensive, as we know, all over the place at the moment, but we've got access to good drilling.
Great. One question that's always popular: how much cash do you have on hand, and how far will that last you with your current plans?
Up till March, we have about $2 million, and we're looking. Obviously, we've got very supportive shareholders, so we're looking to obviously at other funding options at the moment, and we're confident we'll be able to fund our planned drilling programs this year. Great.
Another question here: given that you have a portfolio of projects, how do you prioritize your exploration spending plans?
It's a good question. Also, we know we have a large number of projects. We thought about listing them separately. They all could have been subject to their own IPO, really. So we elected to list all 5 projects. Last 2022 was really an exercise in testing and drilling each project in order for us to prioritise where we focus. We've come up, that clear focus is on the high-grade epithermal projects, with Warrior coming out in front based on the work done to date, and New Pass, and also the Black Hawk epithermal. The Calabac project, while well located, is very deep. The target's deep there, and we feel that the expense and the risk of that is a bit high for us, and we're looking for a partner for that. So we definitely are focused on the Warrior project, with the New Pass project a close second, but we certainly recognise the need to prioritise, and that's what we've done with our drilling programs last year.
Great. And you had alluded to potential partnerships, bringing in partners. Is there any more information you can give us on that? Sometimes those negotiations are confidential.
Yeah, well, most of this is subject to confidentiality agreements, but certainly the larger companies are definitely interested in the Porphyry project, given the scale of it and its location. And that's a significant database there for them to review. Where in the next 6 months, our plan is to accelerate that evaluation process and run a joint venture process on the Porphyry. Several of the gold projects are also of interest to some of the companies, and we're in the process of initiating discussions with a number of them on interest in funding drilling programs on a couple of those projects as well. But I can't really disclose which companies or where those discussions are, other than to say it's pretty positive.
Great. And kind of, I guess, one general question, but just to kind of review, what news and catalysts would we expect to have over the coming weeks and months?
Well, we look to drill at Warrior, and that the RC program will be continued at Warrior. We've also done at the moment, executing a significant geological program on the ground with XRF geochemistry and other geophysics programs, which we're processing the results for at the moment. And when those results are ready, they'll be progressively released to the market over the next month or two. And of course, once we get drilling and get some assays back, we'll be announcing those results hopefully, in the next couple of months. Although there is some delay on assays, but not significant. So yeah, we have a steady news flow planned for the rest of the year, and some drilling results as well.
Great. And one follow-up question, actually related to that, you mentioned the assays. There's been some issues over the last few years with backlogs and long wait times for assay results. Is that still the case for you, or has that alleviated?
It's definitely improved, Tim. The assay situation last year was pretty slow, and we had to in some cases expedite our results, which you can pay additional money to get them expedited. But generally, we use ALS up in Canada, and the turnaround is reasonable, probably 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. In some cases, a bit longer, but it's reasonable. You can get results in a timely manner. We put them in as quickly as we can too, progressively, so we get the results back progressively as well. Great. I think that's all the questions we have today. Peter, I'd like to again thank Peter Moore for presenting today, and thank you everyone on the line for tuning in. Just a reminder that Red Cloud Securities will be back tomorrow afternoon when our webinar series continues, with Talisker Resources presenting Thursday, July 20th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great rest of your day.